Hello, friends and neighbors. So I figured this might be an interesting walk. I came up here to eat lunch at Taco Pete's, which is in the, it's in the IHOP building right here next to McDonald's. And the other day I saw a post on Facebook that was showing all of the flooding that was happening at the school, which is right behind here, the Catholic school, and then beyond. And I realized that Tom Eads, who is a member here, he had informed me that in this area where the McDonald's is and this hotel that we're looking at right now, this used to be Green's Nursery, but in this area is where the springs are. That is the beginning of the creek that goes all the way through Hapeville, that obviously when it rains really hard, floods. So I figured as I walk home, we'll sort of go along that path and talk about that. A couple weeks ago, I realized I wanted a hot dog. I love a hot dog. And I got on Facebook and said, it's a bummer that we don't have anywhere we can get a good hot dog here in Hapeville. And everybody said, yes, you can, right here at Taco Pete's, which is right there. So I've been there 3 times now. And really like the folks that work there. I like the food. I'm a simple boy, and I like a simple burger or a simple hot dog. I don't need anything complicated. But here's the hotel. Now, it is a Holiday Inn Express now. No, it's not. Sorry. That's what the little one behind it is, a Holiday Inn Express. This one is I think it said Best Western on the front. I know this opened in the 70s, and the elevator was quite an attraction for locals here. I'm wondering if any of you just came over here to ride the elevator. But from what I understand, on this property here behind, where McDonald's is and the IHOP and this, that it was called Green's Nursery. And I heard it was very beautiful. Now behind here is the St. Catholic's church and school. And I wonder I'm going to walk over here to see what it looks like in this direction. But the school and church, I think, were built back in the 50s, off the top of my head. But what Tom Eads had told me, who is a member here and grew up in Hapeville and knows a ridiculous amount of detail about this town, he should be doing what I'm doing. He said Green's Nursery was here, and he told me around this area there's a spring, and that's what feeds the creek that travels down this direction. I don't know exactly how or where in this area it is. Oh, wait a minute. Well, I'll be darned. Now, I don't know if this is a ditch or if this is part of the creek. Right over there, over this little hill, you can see the schoolyard. We'll see it from the other side. But the other day, it rained really hard, and it was completely underwater. And that happens all along the creek through Hapeville when it rains as hard as it has been the last few days. And I'm no professional, but the obvious problem is that over the past 100 years that we have developed Hapeville, we've done things like this, where we cement over and cover up and redirect and submerge again under the ground the creek. And that causes overflow and stuff. Oh, so I've never seen this before, but we're right behind the school. But you can see right there, the water comes out. So I think that is part of the creek. I'm familiar with where the creek flows as we get further down near Colorado and such. But I had never known where the spring is and how it pops out from underground in the McDonald's area. But it looks like it comes under here and comes out right there for a little bit and then runs around to where the schoolyard is. Of course, you all know we are beyond, the airport is over there, and we're just a little north now of Central Avenue. Right across there, you can see the Porsche building that is, and the hotel right there between the trees. That's the Kimpton Hotel. That is the property upon which the Ford plant was. And while I'm over here, I'll come show you this area. It's not pretty, but it's interesting to look at. The Holder family, this was their business. Back in the 40s, Milton, I think his name was, if I'm remembering correctly. Mark, if you see this, you'll have to remind me. I think your dad's name was Milton Holder. He had a home and business right here on North Central, the garage next to it. But when they widened North Central, he had to move because that building got lost and he had to move. Love watching the planes land. So he could never have imagined, Milton Holder, when he had his business, that right across the way one day would be this futuristic looking Porsche building. But anyway, one of the Holder brothers told me they used to rehearse with their band in the basement. I thought that was so cool, in the basement of Holder Tire. All right, so this all probably looks very unfamiliar to y'all, but what we're looking at here now, I'm not sure what this, I mean, obviously this was a convenience store in its day. It's now a vape and smoke shop, but it's such an odd place for there to have been a convenience store. I find it interesting. Yeah, Paradise, hookah, e-juice. Ugh, e-juice, that just sounds gross. And a vape lounge. I've never been in there. But here on this property, there's Wendy's right there. You know, you go back far enough, someone's home was there. There were homes all along this stretch. Someone eventually sold the land. And before Wendy's was there, oh, I forget what other business it was that was there. Crystal. I think it was a Crystal Burger that was there. And then on this property, there was the Dixie Bowl. And now it's Signal Apartments. Signal Apartments. So this was, I don't know if it still is, I mean, I know it's the property of the St. John's Catholic School, and I would imagine this is where the pastor of the church lived. What is that called? I always forget what those are called. Where the pastor lives. Here's the school. St. John's Evangelical Catholic Church and School. I want to say 1954 or 5. But behind it is where that creek ran. And down to the schoolyard. So, actually, I was planning on walking down to the schoolyard. It has dried up now. But I have to go to the library, so I'm going to walk in that direction instead. So the creek goes down behind and then under Colorado, sort of, across this way behind Barnett Circle, over to Old Jonesboro Road, behind the Hudson home, and down that direction. It's fascinating to me. But the flooding was really bad a couple weeks ago. So here we are at Sunset and King Arnold. And again, this will all seem very new to y'all. But so across here is now Signal at the intersection of King Arnold. I know there used to be, gosh, this has changed even the last 6 years I was here. This was pretty much clear. There was a little like industrial building there. And then I think there was an apartment building here called Falcon. I always want to say Falcon's Rest, I believe. And then Chick-fil-A down there. But we're at King Arnold. And now this area on the corner, this little strip of land, is being developed. Just like what happened on the exact other opposite end of King Arnold, where King Arnold meets North Fulton. Tiny little strip of land there got developed with townhomes, and the same thing is happening here. And there it is. King's Landing, coming soon. visit our Stillwood community. Ah, so they're the ones who made Stillwood as well. It is hot right now. I had planned to walk along the creek the whole way, but like I said, I've also got these books that I'm going to take back to the library. I want to give a special thanks to Jamie McDonald, who grew up here in Hapeville. Jamie reached out to me and said, "You've got so many walks. Would you like me to map them for you so that guests to the YouTube page in particular can find what streets they want to see and then refer to those maps and then know which video to watch?" And so she's been working tirelessly on that for months now and just doing such a great job. And I really appreciate that, Jamie. Thank you for that. And for those of you who are enjoying watching these, thank Jamie for making it as easy as it is to find the walks that you want to observe and experience. So we're coming up behind the shopping center that is at North Central and why am I crapping out on the road we're coming up to? You guys know, even as different as it all might look. I'm guessing this was a doctor's office at one point. I forget what it is now. Luis? Is this Luis? No, I think that's one more down. We'll see in just a second. But I'm guessing that this was, maybe still is a doctor's office. No, it's not a doctor's office. It says the Stone Key Group at 411 King Arnold. But I think y'all told me this was a doctor's office. We are at the intersection of North Central, La Vista. Yes, this is La Vista. I love this little bench that was clearly put here back in the 70s. It's an odd place for a bench, but thanks. There's no bus stop near here. I wonder why. Yep, La Vista Drive. There we are, hidden in the trees. Corner of La Vista. And then so here we are behind the shopping center where Darby's Furniture was back in the 70s, probably 80s. Now we've got in there Kenny's Cafe. We've got a coffee shop there on the corner, laundromat down at the end. Here's 421 King Arnold at the corner of King Arnold and Louise Street. This home would have been on a quiet, basically country lane back in the day, but as does happen over the years, that changed. I've never noticed this brick thing, and it clearly had another piece, architectural stone piece on there. It must have been either part of this home's yard or, wow, I love stuff like this. Look, clearly there's a fence post there, another fence post for when there were chain link fences there. It's sort of like archaeology. Or was this put here sort of as a marker of an entrance to this neighborhood? Who knows? Never noticed that before. You notice things when you walk. That's fabulous. Makes me wonder what that was. My guess is it was a planter and there were flowers there at once, but whether this was that person's doing at one point or the city, I guess I'll never know. 427 was probably a doctor's office. It used to have a little sign out front that said it was a church. It's a cute little mid-century modern home or business, but it's always very quiet. I never see anything going on there. And here we are again, and I think this is called Clarion Court. Oh, there's a sign coming up. That's right. It's funny, no matter how many times I take these walks, sometimes I forget the names of things. There it is. Yep, Clarion Court. I always look at these apartment complexes that were built in the 50s, during the boom of the 50s, and I wonder how many of you graduated from Hapeville High School and were just itching to have your own space and live on your own away from your parents, and rented one of these apartments along King Arnold. Was that you? Any of you do that? I remember getting my first apartment. Oh boy, was I excited. Boy, was I excited. And now I'm one of those middle-aged people that says, you know, when I got my first apartment, it was $350 a month. I don't know how kids are doing it these days. Like, if you can get an apartment at $1,200 a month, that's the low end. And yet, kids today are getting paid almost the same as what I got paid when I got my first apartment. It is frustrating, to say the very least. We're coming up at Central Park, the Central Park neighborhood. It's a little bit breezy. I hope you can hear me. I've mentioned this neighborhood before, and we've actually walked through it. Opened in 1996. It took the place of an old dilapidated duplex development that was in there called, oh, why is it popping off my brain now? I always forget that name. And then, of course, there's the back of Chick-fil-A. We've passed that a million different times. Okay. Why can't I remember the name of it? Robert Myron Ridley, Bob Ridley, he'll know. He grew up there. Here we are. There's 479. There's still a couple original homes that were built in the 40s left here on King Arnold. And of course, the stretch that we're on right now was just called Arnold. And down at the other end, from North Fulton over to Stewart Avenue, formerly Stewart Avenue, that was called King. They aligned them back in the 50s, and now it's called King Arnold. There's Clarion Court Apartments, the Park View, and another original home left. And we're coming up to what used to be called Master Park. Now it's John Lewis Park. And I'm gonna take a break in the library, return these books. There's some street digging going on over here, either for water or electrical, who knows, or neither. Maybe it's just to repair the streets. But here is the entrance to the park, as you would remember. And down here is the new library, built a couple years ago, replacing the one that was built in 1974. I think I did a walk just a couple weeks ago and I came to the library. Oh yeah, they're working on the water pipes over here. Yep. Right out in front of the apartments. It's a beautiful walk. I'm glad you all joined me for it today. Oh, look. Okay, so the other day I was here and I was explaining this. In the roof, they did this really cool thing. That's Hapeville. H-A-P-E-V-I-L-L-E. And when the sun hits it just right, look down there. Isn't that cool? I just happened to hit it at just the right time. That is a cool little design element that most people don't see. You've got to be here at the right time. I can't see my clock, so I can't see what time it is right now, but that would change throughout the year, of course. But look at that. Thank you all for walking with me. Thank you, Jamie McDonald, for your wonderful work on helping me make this a more valuable resource. And you all create yourselves a great day. Bye.